Picture a standard Indian neighborhood, a typical mohalla. Let's say there are 100 houses packed into this community. Out of those 100, 2 belong to families who run the local shops, like a kirana or a medical store. The other 98 households buy their daily rice, cooking oil, and cosmetics from these 2 stores. Because the shop owners live right down the street, the money they make stays in the area. It circulates, forming a closed, self-sustaining loop. Then, a disruption arrives. A new app offers to bypass the local shops entirely, promising to drop groceries directly at the doors of those 98 houses in under 10 minutes. For the people ordering, the immediate appeal is undeniable. You tap a screen, and your items appear almost instantly. It feels like the pinnacle of modern efficiency. This 10-minute delivery cycle relies on a mechanism that systematically extracts money out of the local area, starving the financial foundation of the community and triggering an economic disaster for everyone in the neighborhood. To see exactly how this damage happens, we have to look at the local multiplier effect. This is the actual engine that builds community wealth. This diagram shows the first step of that multiplier. When those 98 houses spend their rupees at the neighborhood kirana store, the shopkeeper earns a profit. The shopkeeper then reinvests that money to grow their business and improve their life. They buy a new display fridge, maybe an air conditioner, or pay for new shelving units. That expansion requires labor and materials. The shopkeeper pays the local rickshaw uncle to haul goods. They buy cement, bricks, and steel for construction. The initial rupees keep branching out. A single purchase of milk and soap at the corner store eventually pays the wages of the transport driver, the hardware vendor, and the construction worker. One transaction effectively feeds a dozen different families living in the exact same zip code. The local shop acts as a necessary anchor. Without it, the money has no way to enter and circulate through the rest of the community. Quick commerce platforms often point to the delivery riders they hire as proof that they are injecting wealth into these communities. But the math tells a different story. A rider is typically paid 20 to 30 rupees per drop. This low rate forces them into a continuous panic, risking their physical safety in traffic just to ensure they don't miss the next order and fail to make a livable daily wage. This new chart shows what happens to the profit when those 98 houses shift their spending to a 10-minute app. The purchase completely bypasses the local web. This triggers a process known as capital flight. Before a single rupee of local profit is even calculated, 10 to 20% of the margins immediately leave the country. That money pays for the foreign-owned servers, databases, and tech infrastructure required to run the app. The money that remains flows directly out of the neighborhood to foreign venture capital investors, or to platform founders who spend their cuts on imported luxury cars and international properties. The community map runs completely dry. Quick commerce platforms operate as highly efficient extraction vacuums, mining local wealth to pack it up and ship it out of the community. Look closely at a neighborhood after this extraction process has run its course. The local multiplier chain permanently snaps. The kirana store shuts down first, but the damage ripples outward. Without the foot traffic from the main store, the independent vegetable sellers, fruit carts, and local milk vendors lose their daily customers and close up shop. The collapse then hits the invisible network: medical representatives, area sales managers, and regional transport drivers. People whose entire livelihoods depend on servicing independent shops suddenly find their routes eliminated. This map displays the final state, a single central node monopolizing all the lines. The decentralized wealth of hundreds of families is funneled to a few tech platforms, acting purely as middlemen, or dalals. Once the local alternatives are eradicated, the neighborhood becomes dependent on a platform that will never hire the local rickshaw uncle or buy construction materials from the neighborhood hardware store. The engine of local reinvestment simply stops. It forces a calculation every time you open your phone. You have to weigh the 10 minutes saved on delivering a tube of toothpaste against the financial survival of the people living on your street. Choosing the app over the corner shop guarantees that your money will never come back to your community. You pay for the convenience by directly funding the loss of your neighborhood's economic independence.